film review of that game different from what you thought walking off the field?
I think the biggest thing is, maybe in the moment you're not as sure as what you pinpoint in that situation. We go back and look at it. I think for us, third down, I believe it was third down and 6 or less, and fourth downs, we were something like 2 of 11 in those situations. So again, at times I thought we moved the ball extremely well. It's really frustrating in those situations. The game's on the line, whether it's third downs. With the 2 turnovers I think we had on third down, and not converting on those fourth downs. Again, going on the road, playing a good opponent. It's what it's going to come down to. So.
Guys in and out, receivers, different packages, formations. How do you balance trying something different to see if it works and keeping your main guys out there? I guess I know on a couple of those fourth downs they're going to be out there.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is for us. Again, is it realistic for those 2 guys to play all 70 plays? Probably not. Just from the standpoint of needing a break, taking a break. It's always been our philosophy, to encourage guys as they're practicing well, to give other guys an opportunity. And again, with the thought process being that they take some of that load off, and those 2 guys are in there, in plays we need them to be in there. Obviously, I know at the end of the game there, it was a personnel group we had to have AB on an outbreak and Hardly Gilmore out there. In that situation, we've got to sub those guys out there. But during the week, those 2 guys had repped that play over and over again, and that was the call, and that's how it ended up.
Speaking of kind of working guys and you trying to work Chip back into the rotation, how do you feel about that room and in getting a feel on who to play, when, and where at the running back spot?
I think it's it's never a thing of perfect. We're in a situation where different guys have been healthy at different at points. Certain guys are better than other guys at certain things, and we're still in the situation too now of, you look at game plans and you try to simplify them as much as you can, but you got young guys out there who, if they're out there for every single play, their chances of being successful could decrease. And so it's been a mixture. We want to, get a guy like Jamarian Wilcox knowing exactly what plays he would be in there for the most part. At times, a little bit of it has to do with what gets called and what doesn't. But it's been a work in progress for sure.
Hope Cutter got out of that.
Yeah, I feel bad. I really do. I mean, anytime you get that first getting your feet wet for the first time, and to go out there and I put him in that situation and to throw that interception, I just I went to him and just kind of apologized because again, I don't think necessarily he wasn't warmed up and all those things, but for us, we're in a situation where we can play him in 4 games in a bowl game, and in this conference you never really expect scores to get out of hand, and we felt at the end it did, and we wanted to get his feet wet. We wanted to get him a couple drives to feel what it was like playing on the road in that kind of environment, and I think we accomplished that. And just unfortunate how the first play went.
Not to bring up a bad memory, but I think your senior day started where you say you threw a pick 6 on the first play. Just as a quarterback, what are the nerves like when you're throwing into those situations for the first time out there?
Yeah, I think it's tough, and in my situation, I obviously knew I was going to be out there, so I think that's a little different. I just to him, told him this all week. He's the best kid on the planet, and so it's just, we thought it was the right thing to do to get him in and to get him some action as much as we can in those situations. Was he ready? Was he warmed up? No, and that's just it happened like that. It was a gut reaction. I am happy we got him those reps. I think anytime you can get in there and learn from that, it's a good thing. But obviously not the exact start that he made me want.
Coach, what do you know about Auburn, and what have you seen from their defense so far?
Really talented. I mean, it goes back to, I think you guys have probably put on the film. I know they're sitting at the record they're sitting at, and maybe we're in a similar situation as them, but it's they got players all over the place, and I think as you guys watch them as the week goes, you'll know that. This is a team that I think is ranked 133rd in turnover margin right now, and the reality is if they weren't, from what I'm seeing, with the talent they have on both sides of the ball and special teams, there's no reason why they can't be at the top third of this conference. So again, it's tricky to figure out. I think this front seven is extremely talented. It's going to be a good matchup for us. I know I say that, week in and week out, but I really do believe that. And again, I just think it comes down to for them taking care of the football and the challenges they pose.
Malachi Wood logged some significant snaps. What did you see from him in his first kind of heavier workload?
Yeah, super impressed. And I think that's a guy we've wanted to see get going, and due to Mincy's situation, it gave us an opportunity to see him go out there. You never quite know how a freshman's going to react in that environment again, but we thought he played extremely well. He graded out as well as anybody else, and there was just a good size presence to him, if you will, that we thought provided a spark for us at the offensive line position.
How important is it to have some of those high school recruits on the offensive line develop and move forward when it can be challenging to try to find replacement parts from the portal?
I think it's huge, not just necessarily at the offensive line position, but anytime you take a guy from a portal, as you know, there's challenges that come with it, just from the standpoint of them immersing themselves into your culture and them knowing exactly what the place they're at is like. And so I think it's always going to still be about high school recruitment and development and retaining guys, and how can we keep those same guys on the roster for a large amount of time. I still think about some of the transfer portal guys we have, and although they're veteran, older guys, it still takes you 6 months, 8 months, a year to get a good feel for a place, just like anybody. And so I think it's always going to be about that, the development piece, certainly at a place like Kentucky, and we got to strive to do a good job of bringing the right people into the program.
Bush, knowing it's not as simple as just snapping your fingers and it being done, like how fixable are the issues that you've identified with 5 games left in the regular season?
The message is we just got to keep pushing, and I think figuring this thing out. And again, all we know is kind of to shrink the circle, if you will, go back to work. Sometimes you feel like you have the exact pulse on it, and it doesn't work out exactly how you think it does. But again, we got to put our guys in the best position to be successful. And the focus has got to be staying 1-0 and just winning one game at a time. I think I certainly understand, what everybody wants it to look like, and play with tempo and throw it and all those things. And at times we want it to look like that. We really do. But we've got to do what's best for us with the situation we're presented with to go put ourselves in position to go win a football game. So
you guys are running the ball real consistently between the 20s and get down in the red zone inside the 5. Have you been able to put your finger on why maybe that push hasn't been there, close to the goal line like it has been?
Yeah, I didn't feel great about, the 3rd and 4th down sequence and the one there. I mean, again, hindsight looking back at it, whether we should have, thrown it on 3rd down or with as big as they were inside, I didn't feel great about that on my end. I do think you get into a situation, again, it wasn't a 4th and goal, it was a 4th and 1 that I think we could go execute and get a yard. I did. But, it's a certain mentality there in that situation. I think the frustration has been 2 straight weeks being right there within the 2-yard line to go score. I think if we get those done in both of those situations, the game could be drastically different, but it is what it is.
I'm sure
Last one.
You've gone through tough times before, times where things weren't going the way you wanted them to go. How do you keep a level head during times like that and not let it affect you too much?
I think the biggest thing, again, is, and sometimes we're at fault for this, is just shutting our door and just being in the office 24/7. But again, you just gotta stay process driven. I really believe that. And sometimes after wins, you think you have it all figured out, and after losses, you think you're doing everything wrong. And so you just got to stay the course. And I think it's important for the players to understand that. That's what we're preaching to them every week, trying to take that next step. Move certain guys around. How can we get better in certain spots? Put these guys in a better position, and that's always the focus.
All right, folks, thank you very much.